Baylor has driven progress in health and medicine through research, education, and care that push the frontiers of modern science.
Lost load cleanup continues. It's been about an hour now. Inbound Southwest Freeway, Gessner, in a couple of left lanes, mulch or dirt, whatever it is. All you care about is it's backing you up towards the belt, so watch for that if you're coming in from the Sugar Land area. High right around 100 today. Slight chance of some afternoon showers. Tuesday, similar, a chance of rain all week, but just some light stuff. Thursday, 48% chance with around 95 for the high, and 30% chance for Friday, more clouds, so around 93 for the high. A little break in the extreme heat, 81 right now. It's KUHF Houston News 88.7. A service of the University of Houston. Houston Matters starts right now. Stick around, 9 o'clock.
Nearly 1 in 5 traffic deaths in Texas happen in the 13 counties the Houston-Galveston Area Council covers. The organization of local municipalities wants to change that and wants your help. I'm Craig Cohen. Today on Houston Matters, the steps the council's taking and how it could involve you this week.
Houston Matters with Craig Cohen is a production of Houston Public Media with support from Baylor College of Medicine.
Also this hour, on the first Monday of every month, we sweat the small stuff in a sort of group moan session we call Houstonian Pet Peeves. Share yours at talk@houstonmatters.org. Plus, the Astros are on a tear. They've won 11 of 12, including a weekend sweep of the Texas Rangers, and it's propelled the Stros into first place in the American League West. We discuss with Bleav in Astros co-host Jeff Balke. We'll start with a news update from NPR and News 88.7. Stay with us.
Live from NPR News in New York City, I'm Doahlisa Kautal. President Trump backed out of threats to unleash another round of heavy strikes on Iran over the weekend. On Wednesday, he said the U.S. would be, quote, hitting them very hard, but by Saturday night, he called the strikes off. NPR's Hadil Al-Shalchi reports.
Speaking to reporters on Sunday, President Trump said Gulf leaders, including Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, convinced him to call off strikes against Iran over the weekend.
But when the allies ask to call it off, you got to sort of say, well, let's see. And the reason they asked is I think there's a deal.
He said that the, quote, perimeters of a deal were reached, but no details were provided. Iran's foreign minister said he had conducted a number of calls with mediator Pakistan and Turkey and Saudi Arabia. Oil prices dropped yesterday after Trump's announcement that he'd hold off on those strikes. Hadil Al-Shalchi, NPR News, Istanbul.
Iranian state media says Tehran is not currently negotiating with the United States. Stocks opened higher after President Trump halted a promised attack on Iran. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped about 600 points in early trading.
Oil prices fell on hopes that an escalation of fighting in and around the Strait of Hormuz might be avoided. Retail gasoline prices showed little change overnight. AAA says the average price of regular gas is about $4.09 a gallon. That's down slightly from a week ago, but about 27 cents a gallon higher than this time last month. The U.S. and Japan say they're working together to rebalance exchange rates between the dollar and the yen. The move comes after the yen fell to a 40-year low against the greenback, making U.S. exports more expensive in Japan. Canadian airline WestJet has reached a tentative deal with flight attendants after a day-old strike forced the cancellation of hundreds of flights. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
In Michigan, voters will soon choose between four-term Congresswoman Haley Stevens, a moderate, and Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed, a progressive candidate and former public health official. NPR's Tamara Keith reports on the closely watched Democratic race in the Purple State.
It's a true swing state, and Democrats really need to hang on to that seat, currently held by a retiring Democrat, if they want a chance of gaining control of the Senate. The primary matchup really reflects something Democrats have been wrestling with at least since 2016. Who can win, a populist progressive or a moderate favored by the Democratic establishment?
Established Democrats say for swing voters, nominating Al-Sayed is too much of a risk because some of the positions that he's taken could be painted as extreme. But those in the insurgent wing of the party say playing it safe is the real electability problem. You're listening to NPR News from New York City.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Melville Charitable Trust, committed to ensuring all people have a safe, stable, and affordable home that allows them to thrive. Information about ways to prevent and solve homelessness is at melvilletrust.org.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Matt Harab. There is a slight chance of rain each day this week, which is likely going to keep temperatures from climbing into the triple digits. That's after a really hot stretch with heat advisories and excessive heat warnings at the end of last month. We are set to have cooler temperatures as the week progresses. Obviously still hot, though, in the mid to upper 90s. We have a projected high of 99 today. However, it should only get to around 95 degrees once we reach Friday. Now, we are getting into the thick of hurricane season right now. However, there is currently no tropical activity expected for the next 7 days in the Atlantic or the Gulf. Having said that, climate scientists say the Gulf has been warming at double the rate of the rest of the ocean in recent years. Our Natalie Weber tells us more about what that means for us.
Robert West is a senior research associate with the University of Miami and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. He says Gulf temperatures are running about 2 degrees above average. This year's El Niño has made it harder for hurricanes to form this season. But Robert says increased ocean temperatures can still lead to more intense hurricanes.
That does not mean that one particular storm, were it to form, wouldn't take advantage of the more hospitable sea surface temperature conditions in the Gulf.
Average ocean temperatures off the Texas coast in August range from about 85 degrees to nearly 89 degrees. I'm Natalie Weber, News 88.7.
Local authorities are continuing their investigation today after finding a man dead in a vehicle that was found in a retention pond. This happened in North Harris County yesterday near State Highway 99. Police received reports of a vehicle that had flipped upside down into the water. The man was pulled from the vehicle and was pronounced dead at the scene. After a difficult start to the season, the Astros have stormed all the way back into first place in the American League West Division. They beat the Texas Rangers yesterday 6-3. It was a sweep in the series. They've won 6 games in a row and play the Blue Jays coming up tonight in their next game. I'm Matt Harab, News 88.7.
This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on News 88.7 and Houston Public Media's YouTube channel. Coming up this hour, your Houstonian pet peeves. And as we just heard, the Astros are in first place. The trade deadline is at 5 o'clock today. What will the surging Stros do? We will discuss. We begin today with road safety. According to the Houston-Galveston Area Council, the 13-county region of the Gulf Coast its organization of local governments covers, accounts for 1 in every 5 traffic deaths in Texas. The council says on an average day in the region, 2 people are killed and 10 more seriously injured in traffic accidents. The Houston-Galveston Area Council is in the middle of an effort to improve those stats and wants your help. Keehren Baah is Senior Project Coordinator of that effort. Keehren, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Cohen. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Now, in the city of Houston alone, TxDOT reports traffic deaths outpace homicides. Has that always been the case? Has it been this bad this long?
Houston-Galveston Area Council, as we are the MPO planning organization, our job really is to reduce those fatalities and serious injuries.
Yeah. Is this concentrated on specific kinds of roads, certain neighborhoods, times of day or days of the week, anything like that? Or do we see this pretty evenly spread everywhere and any time?
Great question. Fatalities and serious injuries, there's no boundary in terms of the jurisdiction, the line, the time of day. We collect the data over the last 5 to 6 years, and the data shows that there's been an increase.
What percentage of traffic injuries and deaths are between vehicles, and which ones are between a vehicle and a pedestrian or a cyclist? Do we know that?
We can provide you that data.
Okay. So you don't have that
Yes.
on hand. That's fine. So, okay, let's get into it. The Houston-Galveston Area Council is developing safety action plans intended to help reduce traffic deaths and injuries. What sorts of plans are we talking about?
So the Safety Action Plan is more than just a document. It outlines recommendations. It looks at data-driven analysis. It looks at where our injuries are happening. We have an identified high injury network, and that guides us as to where improvements are most needed.
So, okay, you say this identified high injury network. What are you talking about there?
Looking at throughout the Houston-Galveston Area Council, looking at our region, looking at where traffic accidents and crashes happen, where the concentration is at intersections and corridors throughout the 8-county region.
And you have broken that down into essentially a dozen different communities, right?
We have identified that high injury network, and we have partnered with 11 jurisdictions. We're currently updating our existing safety action plan.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we're working with local agencies, including the GCRD, which is the...
if you don't know, I'll look it up. That's okay.
No, GCRD, and as well as Metro, which is the Gulf Coast Rail District.
Gotcha.
Yes, looking at rail as well. These are two of the other agencies. We will have this joint meeting on Wednesday, August 5th, where we're welcoming the community. We're welcoming all of Houston to come out and give us their opinions, their feedback on these recommendations and identifying these areas.
Okay, and so just as I understand, I'm looking up on your website, the communities identified. There's Conroe, Friendswood, Galveston, the Gulf Coast Rail District, as you mentioned, Lamarck, League City, one for the entire Houston metro area, Missouri City, Pearland, Sugarland, and Waller County. So I guess the idea is highways or roadways where a lot of these kinds of accidents tend to occur, you could subdivide them into all of those locations.
Yeah, there were locations that partnered with us.
Okay.
The regional plan covers all of the 8-county areas.
Is there money to cover the action plans that you're developing, or is this just a set of recommendations and then it's up to individual municipalities and organizations that do this sort of work to solve it?
So the Federal Highway Administration, they pretty much have a grant that we applied for, and that grant provided us the funding to develop these plans.
And can you give us any more specifics on what these plans are? What are we talking about here? Is this a question of like rebuilding roads, or is it about changing, I don't know, speed limits, or what is this?
Yes, I would like the public to understand that these plans are action items. These plans are projects, policies, recommendation for implementation to reduce fatalities and serious injuries. So once we identify where they're actually happening, then we, with the data, provide recommendations in terms of what should be fixed.
So are you saying you don't have those recommendations yet? You're not that far along in this?
We are to the point of where we're still collecting data in terms of we want to hear everyone's feedback. We do have recommendations that we will present in our open house on Wednesday for the public to give us their feedback. But it doesn't stop there. We want feedback because there are some folks that may not have heard of this plan yet.
Okay.
So I invite them to go to our website at engage.h-gac/safety action plans.
Right. And there are dashes between safety and action and plans. Yes. I should point that out. For those who can attend in person, this is Wednesday night at 6 o'clock at your headquarters on the second floor of 3555 Timmons Lane in Houston.
Yes.
Keehren Baah is Senior Project Coordinator at the Houston-Galveston Area Council. Once again, the public meeting on its community action plans to improve roadway safety is Wednesday night at 6. on the second floor. Again, 3555 Timmons Lane in Houston. Or again, if you're not able to attend, you can find an interactive map you can comment on at engage.h-gac.com. Just click where it says HGAC Safety Action Plan. There are also links there to individual plan sites. Keehren, thank you very much.
Thank you for having.
And up next, from roadway safety to summer heat and beyond, there's a lot about life here in Houston that might lead you to feel the need to complain right now. That's fine with us. Our phone lines are open for your Houstonian pet peeves at 713-440-8870, or join our monthly group moan session with an email at talk@houstonmatters.org. And stick around as Houston Matters continues on News 88.7 and YouTube.
You count on Houston Public Media. That's why you're here right now. Take the next step and become a new member today. Every gift makes a difference. And with a gift of $5 a month or more, you'll receive PBS Passport, a member benefit that lets you stream more of the shows you love anytime. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. Join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
Listeners like you, and from Baylor College of Medicine. With over 125 years of innovation behind it, Baylor has driven progress in health and medicine through research, education, and care that push the frontiers of modern science.
Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8, enjoy 2 episodes of Antiques Roadshow from the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore starting at 7. Then POV presents the documentary The Gas Station Attendant at 9. Tonight on TV8.
This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen. On the first Monday of every month, we set aside time on this program to sweat the small stuff in a conversation we call Houstonian Pet Peeves. We do it because you can't tackle life's big challenges when the little ones get in the way. I'm talking about those petty annoyances, frustrations, things that make your life here in Houston just a little less than it could be. You can email your peeves now to talk@houstonmatters.org or call or text us at 713-440-8870. Remember the ground rules: no swearing, no defaming. Otherwise, we encourage you to let loose. And once again, to help us along in the moaning, we are joined by a couple of expert complainers, Houston Chronicle op-ed editor Lisa Gray and Craig Hlavaty, public relations specialist at Public Content. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are all three, I gather, in pretty good moods, so we're going to have to summon our inner rage and start this peeving along as best we can.
It's not true, Craig. I am totally faking it.
Oh,
She's
good.
Been rageful
Yes.
in the green room.
Smiling because I'm just boiling underneath. It is August.
Yes.
It is the worst time of the year in Houston.
Yes.
I am somewhere between depression and rage all the time, and so I just smile.
Okay. I thought maybe something about like the heat and pores in the sun froze your face.
Freezing would be good, Craig.
Yes, indeed.
You know, I'm just like
Freezing's
simmering.
not good, because yesterday we were at a children's arcade and it was 55 degrees inside.
Yes, well, that's the adjustment that we Houstonians make.
It's like a data center in there.
Yeah.
It's Cidercade. It was like a data center in there. 55 degrees. I was wearing shorts and a T-shirt, and the whole family was freezing, and we should have worn long pants and hoodies.
Yeah.
But it probably saved you money.
I was looking outside longingly at the heat. It was 101 yesterday, and I'm looking outside, and I'm seeing people walk around, and I'm just like, wow, they're having such a great time.
You could have just stood in the doorway and then half heat, half cool.
I could have just went outside with just
for like 15 seconds and then go back in.
But it was just way too cold.
Yeah.
I get it. We have to have you have to cool down the machines. Dig Dug from 1982 can't overheat, but it's like the double-edged sword.
Right.
I like the heat.
Yeah.
Because I like working outside and I feel like I'm exercising. I feel like I'm doing something. I'm laying down sod at the house. I'm doing stuff, and I go inside and I can hibernate, and then I feel like I've done my job. But sometimes we keep our indoors way too cold.
You see, and I am fine with a frozen tundra if it's
I love
also
AC.
an arcade.
I love AC. It's great. It's great. But sometimes it's just
I think
too
the
much.
problem was Dig Dug. I think if it was Galaga, you wouldn't have had these complaints.
That's another thing. Like Cidercade is like it's the sensory overload.
Oh, sure.
Like I had to
but that's
drive
part of why
after
you
that,
go there.
and we were.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know how fast am I supposed to go? I can't remember.
But
like,
you had to share that experience with your children.
yeah. It was great. It was great. I love it. Birthday party's amazing.
The key is once you get behind the wheel of that car, remember that you're not playing pole position anymore.
Exactly. And I
Yes.
cannot throw bananas at the people behind me to have them spin out. I took a while.
We have a peeve here relating to the summer heat, an anonymous peever who writes about the casual lack of attention on air quality in apartment buildings. This person writes, Houston has a mix of humidity, pollen, and pollution. It's important to find environments with good AC, especially during August and September. Renovations with heavy varnish and solvents used indoors without proper ventilation or porcelain resurfacing can be very dangerous. Also, harsh cleaning chemicals and inadequate sources of fresh air. Sometimes they aren't able to vacuum the ductwork because the interior airspace was not properly installed.
Ew.
Yeah, well, so even if you're in AC that's not 55 degrees,
Right.
there are potential risks there.
Yeah, you can't open your windows. You're just stuck there.
All right, I have one. It doesn't.
I'm excited for this.
Does not relate to the heat, but it does relate to today and the Major League Baseball trade deadline, which is at 5 p.m.
Yes. Oh.
For the last few weeks, many ball players rumored to be traded have been interviewed and asked about the possibility. And I know that it's a cliche, and I know they mean that it's out of their control. But when a guy who is making more money than anyone else in the entire organization says, quote, that's above my pay grade, well, it's not.
Yeah.
Say you don't have control over that. Say that's up to management. Say that you're just here to help the ball club while you're still on the ball club. And if you get moved to another one, well, then you'll help out that ball club. But don't tell me it's above your pay grade, because when you make 10 or 20 or $30 million a year, nothing is above your pay
We have
grade.
to come up with a different phrase for that.
Yes.
Like, I make a lot of money, more money than any of you will ever make in your lifetimes or your children's lifetimes. It doesn't matter where I play.
Or simply, that's not my call.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not up to me. Okay.
It's above my pay grade.
Ah,
Yeah.
No, it's not. All right. I feel better.
And they have trade clauses. They can say, no, don't trade me. So
Right.
it's not above their
Some
pay.
do.
Some of them, yeah.
Some do. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm glad I got that out of my system. It's a real catharsis for me. Not that I was in a good mood, then I said that, and now I'm in a bad mood, but now I'm in a better mood. So that's how it works. And let's dive into some peeves from your fellow Houstonians. Saeed's in Memorial. What's your Houstonian pet peeve?
Hi, how are you?
All right,
Great
and
show
yourself.
as usual. We had a talk on radio safety, and basically, my pet peeve is when people are just driving at the speed limit or just above in the fast lane, and you're trying to go overtake them, and then accidents happen.
Yeah.
Same thing with a fender bender when people are just looking at it, and there's no need to, and they slam their brakes, and you get into accidents.
Yeah, just about every combination of things you can imagine on a road or a highway, we do it here. And
We've invented some things, too.
Thank you for the call.
We're innovators.
He also raises an issue that's come up before, which is, technically, is there really a fast lane? Is there supposed to be a fast lane? We do have issues here where we have, I mentioned this before as well, left lane exits on highways. So sometimes people are going the speed limit or slower in the left lane because they are preparing to exit said highway.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready for that too.
Yeah, and unofficially, he said they're driving only a little over the speed limit. The speed limiter only a little over.
Right.
The assumption is it's a super speedy lane.
Right.
Where you're driving a lot over the speed limit. And
That should not be the assumption, but
Maybe
it's
there
where
should-
we live.
But yeah,
Maybe
and
there
a
should
lot
be-
of us do it.
Maybe there should be different lanes for different levels of attention that you currently have. Fast lane, that's for like you're paying attention. Like maybe like one of the middle lanes, because we have like 7 lanes in some of these highways. Like that's one. It's like if you're just kind of passively driving.
I
you're
will
not really paying
definitely
attention.
avoid the social
Yeah.
media
Yeah,
update
exactly.
lane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like a lane for like, hey, I got to update it. I got to answer this work email. Like, so people know, like, oh, I don't get in that lane. But
Shouldn't that be the bus?
That's a very good point. Blake is in Tomball. Blake, what's your Houstonian pet peeve?
Yeah, I've been here for a couple of years, and when I first moved, I don't know if I would just blind or not looking, but I didn't realize that there weren't sidewalks anywhere, at least in the spring Tomball area. And then about a month or two into living here, I was like, where are the sidewalks? And I would see like these little tiny corners where there was this like 4-foot sidewalk to nothing, and then it would just turn into a ditch or something like that. But I mean, I like walking, but that's not really much of an option around here because there's nowhere to walk. It's like either you're in the middle of the road or in a ditch. There's no sidewalks. It's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, thanks for the call. And that is an ongoing challenge for lots of different sections of Greater Houston. I know that was one of the factors that led to where I moved about 6 years ago, because I lived in one area of town where, right outside my apartment complex, there was no sidewalk to get anywhere. And I saw kids getting ready for school waiting for the bus, and they're in like the culvert, and there's nowhere else for them to be.
Yeah.
And I wound up moving somewhere where there are lots of sidewalks. And so there are places around town where you have them, but then there are some, you have those sidewalks to nowhere or nothing at all.
It's becoming a luxury product,
Yeah.
which is weird
It is
because you
very
think of
strange.
sidewalks as a public amenity.
It's supposed to be
that you're
accessible
supposed to have
everyone.
everywhere.
Right.
And now only the rich people get to walk. It's weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nicer neighborhoods, too, that don't even have them. So you're just kind of like, I see
Right.
people that are walking, like in my parts of the neighborhood, where they're just walking on the road. And so you definitely have to, you don't want to run them down, obviously.
That's nice of you, Craig.
Yeah, I just thought about it. I was like, hey, I don't want to run them over. But yeah, it's definitely a problem everywhere. And those little, like, sidewalks to nowhere are always funny because it's like, oh, that was a great idea. But then they just forgot, or they just ran out of money.
Yeah, well, it's apparently when you do renovations in my neighborhood, sometimes you trigger the provision that says you have to build a sidewalk outside your house. So there will be a sidewalk in front of one house, not connected to anything else. Yeah.
Thomas is in Montgomery County. Thomas, what's your Houstonian pet peeve?
Well, when I used to eat out in New Jersey and to my local diner, I would have a hot up and turkey sandwich. It was great. Slice of bread, several slices of turkey with mashed potatoes and gravy piled up on top of it, and other places have them too. Shawnee, Bob Evans, they would have that stuff on their menu too. But down here in Texas, you cannot find turkey at all unless you get a pot pie or TV dinner. and all the diners have is beef and variations of beef, hamburgers, hot up and roast beef, stuff like that. Chuck break and steak, that's also beef. Beef. That's all it is. I can't eat beef 7 days a week. I don't care what these Texans eat, but that's all they have is
Try a barbecue place.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
a lot of the barbecue places have been doing both turkey and chicken.
Yeah. I mean,
Beef is king.
It could be where you're living specifically
Yeah.
because I have found many restaurants. I can't remember the last time I saw a restaurant menu where there weren't chicken and turkey and other poultry options.
I mean, in August, hot turkey with gravy is not what I'm in a mood for, so that might be playing into it.
Yeah.
But
Just a hot cup of gravy.
yum.
Yeah, after you're outside mowing the lawn.
And
It's got to be brown.
It's great if you can have sticky fingers and then go into that arcade and just leave gravy residue on all of those machines. We appreciate the call, Thomas. Brandon says on our YouTube channel, I did a vehicle registration renewal for my family in June. I still haven't received it, despite calling our local tax county office 10 times. Finally got a reply back that said, I still have to pay to replace. Oh, boy.
Ouch.
Sounds like a mess. Very sorry to hear that. Okay. Alexandra decided to do some work for us over the weekend. She writes, this past Saturday at a lunch, I mentioned your pet peeve segment, hoping to observe a variety of issues that appear unique to our fair city. One of my friends mentioned in a reductive manner that consideration for others is a theme that pertains to us all in many varied situations. An example being talking on a speakerphone while you're in a grocery checkout line, that sort of thing. Noise pollution. She goes on to write, another acquaintance walked over to our table and contributed a harrowing story of contending with double flat tires due to a pothole encounter.
Oh.
It was expensive and potentially dangerous for him. Thank you for sharing those, Alexandra. We appreciate that.
I do think our potholes are worse than other cities, but I'm not sure that we're any worse about things like putting people on speakerphone in the grocery store.
Yeah, that's
when I've
fairly
traveled,
ubiquitous.
I'm seeing that everywhere now.
We were in Tyler a few weeks ago, and they have really bad roads.
Yeah.
So there are places that are worse.
And
Yay.
no sidewalks. We were in a neighborhood that barely had sidewalks.
So we're at the it could be worse part of the show.
It could be worse. It could be Tyler.
Craig.
Yeah, you could be in a grocery store there and listening to somebody on a speakerphone, too. David writes, hey, city of Houston, I know that money and manpower are tight, but you all really need to crack open some more paint cans and freshen up the lane markings. The markings are so worn in so many areas that I sometimes have no idea where to position my car. This applies even to streets I've driven at least once per week, if not daily, since arriving in 2009. Some might suggest the expansion joints should suffice, but they don't always line up where the stripes would otherwise be. When you don't know where the lanes are supposed to be, where to stop and yield, and where it's safe to cross, it endangers everyone. Putting some more clown makeup on the roads would also give everyone clearly visible indications that their tax dollars are being well spent, because that's not always obvious.
Clown makeup is a great idea. Make people pay attention to the roads, just like some like clown faces.
Would that run afoul of that, like Governor Abbott idea that we can't have a rainbow crosswalk?
Especially if it's
too
rainbow
bright?
clown makeup.
Yeah.
Because we're all clowns on the road, so there you go.
Yeah. But we do need brighter markings. There's something about those that are getting worse.
Is it the heat?
I don't know.
Like beating down the paint?
I'm kind of relieved to hear that other people are having the same problem I am.
Well, it's been one of
affirming
those,
it's not my eyes.
It's a constant peeve I've heard over the 12 years we've been doing this. It seems like every month we hear that.
Well, and I think part of it also is we do so much road work that we're constantly restriping or covering up old stripes, and sometimes it's
the old stripes don't get covered up, and so then that also kind of causes some confusion too.
It makes for complications.
Maybe we only paint when we do road work now.
Maybe
there's so much road work. I don't know.
Maybe
or only when the World Cup is here.
Yeah.
Remember the World Cup?
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Good times. Yeah. We're fielding your Houstonian pet peeves. You can call or text 713-440-8870 or email talk@houstonmatters.org. More of our group moan session and more from guests Lisa Gray and Craig Hlavaty is ahead as Houston Matters continues.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it.
Hello, I'm Ernie Manous. Our show, Hello Houston, is...
It's not just your car. It's the one that brought your kids home from school, took you cross-country, held memories, laughter, even a few breakdowns. When it's time to let go, give your car a new purpose. Donate it and turn memories into meaningful support for this station. Plus, you'll enjoy free and easy pickup, potential tax benefits, and a simple donation process. Your gift supports the programs you and your family love. Donate today and help keep public media strong. Call or donate online.
Colorado, peach farmers are reckoning with an epically dry season that might have disastrous domino effects.
I've already made my decisions for 27. I've made some decisions for 28 already. I can't turn on a dime.
I'm Rima Jerez. The outlook for peach farmers is starting to sour. Next time on Marketplace.
Marketplace says tonight at 6:30 here on News 88.7.
This is Houston Matters. I'm Craig Cohen. We're in the middle of another round of Houstonian Pet Peeves with Lisa Gray, Craig Hlavaty, and you. You can call or text 713-440-8870 or email talk@houstonmatters.org. Remember those ground rules. Don't defame anyone. No name calling, no swearing. Otherwise, we encourage you to bring the pain.
Please bring the pain.
On our Houston Public Media YouTube channel, we have this comment: people who leave their dogs out 24/7 and just let them bark uncontrollably. Well, you can't control the barking exactly. I mean, that's, but you could bring them back in, certainly. Then there are the ones that are just outdoor dogs who bark a lot.
That just makes it so sad, too.
Yeah.
The concept of an outdoor dog.
Well, I mean, there are some.
Yeah,
certainly
but
are.
I don't know why.
But I think it makes you sad because we're in early August heat, and even they need to be inside.
And also, there's
in the dog days.
You were mentioning walking the dog. Like, there's a lot of people that walk their dog in the heat of the day, and they're walking barefoot. Like they don't.
The dogs are.
Yeah, exactly.
People.
So people are. I always grimace at people that are walking their dogs like at noon or 1 o'clock in Houston on concrete on the sidewalk when they can find one. And the poor dog, like, put some shoes on them.
We have
walk them in the grass.
Taylor on from the Heights, who I think wants to respond to the suggestion from Thomas in Montgomery that couldn't find any good restaurants with
Hot
turkey sandwiches. Taylor, your thoughts?
Yes.
Yes. One of the gifts and curses of living in Houston is we have these great restaurants, great culinary institutions, and then because of the times and the economy and just the landscape, they just don't last. And it just leaves a hole in our hearts and in our stomachs as well. So,
yeah, that's absolutely true. But we do have, a lot of good quality restaurants. I mean, one of the things that happens is the ones that don't last, somebody else opens up and has success. So I think
in the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of those industries that it is really hard to last years and years. The ones that do, it's amazing that they do.
This year, we're starting to see a lot of those old-timey restaurants now kind of fall by the wayside, and they are like Barbecue Inn was the huge news this past week too.
Right.
And then there was lines out the door the past 3 or 4 days.
And it's like, where were you?
Where were you?
Yeah.
And then while you were chasing the brand new hot thing, I know, as I say, as a restaurant PR person, but while you were chasing the brand new hot thing that you wanted to check into and post on Instagram, this other place was kind of like, watching you drive by, like, where are lines? And finally, when the clock strikes, midnight on this place, everybody wants to, like, Barbecue Inn. There were people that were getting in line at 9 a.m. and didn't eat till 1. It's like, where were you?
One of my favorite all-time moments on public radio of the last 20 years was on All Things Considered, when then-host Robert Siegel did a piece on the decline of the New York Jewish deli. And that, the number of delis were starting to they were closing up. And he did a piece where he interviewed some regulars that were at one of the still operating New York delicatessens and went around the table and heard as they were giving out their order. And he demonstrated how, because it was a multi-generational table, why it was these delis were in decline. You heard, first one said corned beef on rye. Next one said pastrami on rye. Then it was the son of the older generation, who's a younger guy, who says, yeah, I'll have, let me do a turkey sandwich on, and as this was on, the first time hearing it, I yelled towards the radio, don't say it, on white bread, which is, verboten in Jewish delis, right?
This is a peeve. There's no normal restaurants.
Yeah.
Said the person who works in restaurant PR. There's not like a normal place. Everything has like its own spin on something. The thing that reason people loved
themes and so forth.
People loved Barbecue Inn because it was normal.
Yeah.
And the prices were good. Like, it was normal. You could depend on it.
But what defines normal? Each generation defines for themselves what normal is. That's what I was getting at. Is
it's old school.
There are some styles of restaurants, kinds of restaurants that are just
going out of fashion.
They will go out of fashion over time. We are blessed here because we have, not just great barbecue joints all over the place, but getting back to what I was pointing out, we have Kenny and Ziggy's here, and it's still doing great business. And we have a variety of other, kosher style delis and so forth, more than you see lots of other places.
Luby's is still hanging on in spots.
That's true.
That old school, you can get hot turkeys.
That's what I mean by normal, where it's like it's just dependable and there's not going to be like a new fashion trend attached to it.
Pretty much the same way it did in 1970.
Well,
it has Jell-O.
Yeah. So and those for whom that is comfort food or a comfort style of restaurant or an option. Yeah, that's great. And for others, it's, I don't want to go someplace that looks like they haven't changed anything in 50 years.
But you mentioned Luby's, but there's also the version of that like in Tex-Mex. There's a lot of like really good standby normal Tex-Mex restaurants that don't have all of these other colorful flourishes and crazy margaritas and stuff. And it's just margarita on the rocks, frozen margarita, chips and hot sauce, enchilada plate.
Fewer, I think, than there used to be.
Exactly.
Like the dives that I used to love are fewer.
Yes.
That's true.
I'm making a point of...
But it is the generational thing, too, where people, I guess, of my generation and younger, like, we need to go somewhere where there's, like, a vibe or there's a thing there, or there's like a cool thing to take a picture of.
Unless the thing that you find traditional is the vibe you're going for.
So then maybe like in 30 years, there's going to be like, I just long for the days of like just a really good artisanal chef-driven restaurant from 2012. It's just,
Maybe.
You know?
I mean, these days we have
cornbread and hot sauce. And
we have one of these in our
Caviar
region.
shooters.
We have a Pizza Hut classic, which
Yes.
is a dine-in Pizza
Yes.
Hut. Most of the country doesn't have that anywhere.
Yep.
But that's a good example of something that was very popular 30, 40 years ago,
Right.
not so much now.
Well, and then when places like younger people that are my age that open up a restaurant, like, yeah, we want to open up something that's just like a classic Pizza Hut. I'm like, cool, what are the prices like? Well, you probably can't bring a family of 4 because, and our staff openly hates children, so we can't. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, who's benefiting from this? Who's your target audience?
Comment online, I don't understand why some restaurants lately charge $3 for a fountain drink. I'm all for doing what it takes to reduce sugar intake, but $3.50 for a Sprite from a can or machine is wild. Okay, well, let me, gently push back on this. We had a lot of years where you could get that 2-liter bottle of soda for 99 cents
Yes.
just about everywhere. The pandemic came along and suddenly it was $1.33 and then $1.66 and then $2 and then $3. Prices, have certainly increased dramatically on a variety of products. But that's one, I think the $3 soda's here to stay.
And just pregame in the car with a 99-cent can of Arizona iced tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then get a water cup.
Yeah, I wish, I know that they're trying to shame me by giving me a tiny cup for water.
Yeah, I like that.
But I want to, can I just pay like 50 cents and get a normal size
They give you like
cup?
a shot glass.
Yeah.
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 Shay says, my pet peeve is selective policing, speed traps for mothers driving kids to school, but dangerous driving and speeding at night. No police giving homeless people felonies for being homeless, but when the oil convention is here, the police give instructions how to safely participate in prostitution. I don't know about all of that.
Wow.
That was a whole saga of a text. Good grief. Mario in Spring Branch says, I just got back from Mexico. The city I was on had horrible roads with huge potholes, and people really didn't obey the traffic signals or signs, although no one was aggressive. Here, there's a certain fatalism to the way Houstonians drive, even though when compared to other parts of the world, our roads are fairly straightforward and well-maintained. People drive angry.
Oh, so it's not just Tyler that we're better than.
So I guess what we're saying is that it'd be cool if Houston drivers just weren't angry, if we were just stupid and happy,
Maybe.
like smiling at each other and just like, oh, sorry, I cut you off after 5 lanes.
I'd be okay with that, actually.
Yeah.
That would be an
I think me
improvement.
too. Like it was just dumb fun, car pranks,
Yeah, I don't think driving requires high intelligence so much as just niceness.
not angry.
Yeah.
Right.
It should require both. It'd be nice if it required both. Another from me. First, there were no baby on board signs. Or you remember those baby on board signs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we had the fake service animal jackets for dogs. I've found a new one, or I think I've found a new one. A seemingly massive proliferation of them, of the please be patient student driver bumper stickers on cars.
Exactly. Never mind.
So here's my question. Was there a baby boom I never heard about in 2010 that is leading to this legion of new training drivers on the road? Or have Greater Houston schools inexplicably hired tens of thousands of new driver's ed instructors? Or is it possible that some of the drivers of some of these cars are being less than 100% honest about that?
Just so that people will be nicer to them in traffic?
I think
If
so.
anything, that makes me not want to be nice to them because I'm like, all right, pal, well, it's time for some training.
Toughen up.
Yeah, toughen up. I'm gonna honk at you for no reason, and I'm gonna, switch lanes all around you because hey, like you gotta, fight to survive.
Yeah.
I think student drivers now may be a little more timid,
Yeah.
When I was a kid, driver's licenses were exciting. They meant freedom. We were all dying to get them. And now
I agree with
I
that.
know a ton of kids who are really reluctant to drive. They're terrified
Well, we
of
do
it.
such a good job of talking about how awesome driving is on the show.
Yeah.
We're like,
No
it's
wonder
so
they're so scared.
fun. It's so amazing. Everybody's
Drivers are
nice
so
to you.
mean.
Let's maybe set aside some of the driving peeves for a moment and talk about something completely different. Well, okay, slightly completely different. Robert in Houston Heights asks, when is the eternal construction at George Bush Airport going to finish? Traveling is a nightmare. I was unfortunate to have traveled earlier this year when we had to wait 5 hours to go through TSA. A few weeks ago, we took a trip to Colorado. We take a ride share to the airport and left early. The ride share indicated it was a minute away, and we go out to wait only to find out that a different driver was assigned, which delayed us 15 minutes. We still had plenty of time. Our ticket says our gate is in Terminal A. We are dropped off at Terminal A only to find out that United does not have check-in at Terminal A. We have to go to Terminal C to check in and then go back to Terminal A. Between negotiating the subway and monorail at the airport, we did make our flight, but does it really need to be this complicated?
Yeah, it's frustrating when there's construction going on and you're trying to get through the airport.
It's like Houston doesn't want you to leave.
Yeah.
It's like you can leave, but it's gonna be really hard.
I have to say, I flew out of Hobby about a week ago, and it was great.
Well, Hobby is the better airport.
Yeah.
We can say that.
Yeah, it's not under construction.
Yeah.
They're decent places to eat. You get to other cities' airports, and you're like, ugh.
I think it's fair for us to point out that with Bush Airport, it's Terminal B that is undergoing this dramatic, significant remodel. And Terminal B is all the domestic flights for United typically operate out of Terminal B. So if you don't have all of those gates, if you don't have check-in there, that's why they're routing everybody to C for United flights. To check in your bags, to check in at the desk, you got to go through Terminal C. But yes, a lot of their flights are now out of Terminal A, and so you do have to travel around. I had the same experience. In my case, I wound up parking at the airport, and I parked in A, found out about this whole C thing, so went over to C to check the bags, went through the gate. Still, my flight was still supposed to be out of A. By the time I got through security, it had switched to B. So, okay, I went to B. I also thought ahead of time, well, I have a day pass to the United Club, so I'll go to the United Club in B. The United Club isn't in B at the moment because of the remodeling. Where are they? Oh, they're over in C. Okay, so so I hopped on every form of transportation they had at the airport over the course of a few hours. And then the next time I flew out of Bush, I remembered all of that, parked in C, and limited the amount of trips I had to take to different places.
Even picking people up is hard.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you park for more than 10 seconds, you're just waiting for somebody to come out. They're like, get out of here.
Yeah, because they got to move a ton of people.
They like start keying your car, and they kick your tires, start slashing your tires. Get out of here! Like you're just
slashing your tires would be counterproductive.
Yeah, that's not going to help you
They
move.
start poking your tires, like oh, this one looks a little low. You better hurry. You better drive. It's like a combination lock. Your person has to be coming outside immediately, and you have to jump out and open all the doors and just it's like you're a Secret Service agent trying to hustle them into the car. Like, get out, get in. Got to get out of here.
I sense we've kind of gone astray a bit here at the end, so I'm going to wrap this up. As always, I hope you found this cathartic, whether you shared a peeve with us or not. If there's something on your mind that simply cannot wait until the next time we do this, email it to us now at talk@houstonmatters.org. Craig Hlavaty, Lisa Gray, thank you both very much.
Thanks, Craig.
And still to come, the Astros have surged into first place in the AL West after a weekend sweep of the Rangers. Now the trade deadline's here. We discuss as Houston Matters continues on News 88.7 and YouTube.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
150 weather monitoring stations to improve storm response and restore power more quickly, helping to build a more resilient coastal grid for the hurricane season.
Support comes from the Houston Museum of Natural Science in Herman Park, featuring exhibits on dinosaurs, butterflies, stars, and ancient cultures, along with the Burke Baker Planetarium and Cockrell Butterfly Center. More at hmns.org.
The Houston Astros are on a roll. They've won 6 straight and 11 of their last 12, including sweeps against the Marlins, Angels, and over the weekend, the Texas Rangers. The Astros start the day in first place in the American League West, now 2.5 games ahead of the Rangers and 3 up on the Mariners. It's a surge that lends credence to the club's plans to be buyers at the trade deadline, which, by the way, is a little over 7 hours from now. Here to talk about it is Bleav in Astros podcast co-host Jeff Balke. Hi, Jeff.
Good morning, Craig.
What led to this sudden surge the last 2 weeks?
You know, it's funny. I was on here last week and I was just saying if the Astros just go on a run, if any team in this division just goes on a run, they could put themselves right into first place. And that's what they've done. I think what we've seen is a combination of really 2 things. First, we've seen a bit of a stabilization in the starting lineup. You're getting good efforts from Hunter Brown again. You're getting continued good efforts from Peter Lambert. Christian Javier's looked good. Ronel Blanco's been okay. Hayden Wesneski, other than one bad inning, has been good coming back. So we're starting to see some stabilization in that starting rotation. And then second, we're seeing some just incredible hitting. Yordan Alvarez continues to be the best hitter in baseball, but now you've got him sandwiched in between Jeremy Pena, who's been the hottest player in baseball since the All-Star break, and Isaac Paredes, who's also been outstanding. So you've gotten some really great contributions offensively, particularly at the top of the lineup. You've stabilized the starting rotation, and you're continuing to get just stellar. Astros have one of the best bullpens in baseball, and it continues to be the case, especially with the resurgence of Brian Abreu.
While they entered the weekend on a heater sweeping the Rangers, at this moment in the season ahead of today's trade deadline, where GM Dana Brown has said they'd be buyers, and that he doesn't want to trade from the Major League roster, that means a lot more than the other recent series wins, right?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they are on a roll going into the trade deadline, which is today, this afternoon, it tells you that they really probably are going to be buyers, and they have good reason to be. I mean, they're only a couple of games out of the 2nd seed in the American League now. They have pretty good control. Look, by beating up on the Rangers and by the Mariners losing some games, those 2 teams, the Mariners are already in sell mode. And you could see the Rangers possibly getting in on that as well. So it's really sort of reversed the fortunes for all of the teams in the AL West. I mean, we're seeing the Angels are already having a sell-off themselves. So I think, yeah, it's kind of changed the calculus. And I think for the Astros, their biggest concern, really, the good thing for the Astros is they only really have one major need, and they need a bat, particularly a left-handed bat, and certainly somebody in the outfield. So they have some options out there that are available to them. It depends on how much they're going to have to give up to do that, because they don't want to give up one of their best prospects. They also don't want to really trade from the 26-man roster. So it's going to be somebody that's in between those two, and who they can get for that is we're going to find out.
Yeah, I guess part of the question is, what do they have in the minors that other teams would want at the moment?
Well, they basically said there are a few guys in the minor leagues, particularly in the lower minor leagues, that they're not really going to deal. But you do have guys that are on the 40-man who are playing in the minors or coming up. There are some guys that have real I think trade value. Miguel Ulola is one of them. I don't know if Jake Myers is going to have any trade value, but he certainly is an experienced outfielder, a great defender. I think if you look at guys like Bryce Matthews, could be on that short list. I don't think they want to trade AJ Bluebaugh because he's been so valuable in the bullpen, but he certainly has value out there. And then when you look, there are some younger prospects that they might be willing to deal from that position as well. I'm not sure where they're going to go, to be honest with you. Right now, it's kind of a big question mark, because Jim Crane has pretty much said he doesn't really want to deal from this 26-man roster, basically because he feels like they're on a roll. And so that really brings into question, Will they be able to spend the kind of money that you would want in order to bring in a Kyle Stower or a Dylan Varsho, or are they going to have to do something a little bit less and maybe get somebody like George Springer back?
Do they have players on that current 26-man roster with options that they could send down if they do trade for somebody they think makes sense for a playoff push?
I think what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to certainly they do. To answer your question, yes, of course they do. The question is going to be, where are they going to replace on the 40-man roster? They're going to have to move somebody off the 40-man roster in any deal that they do in order to make enough space to bring them in. They certainly have players that can go down to the minor leagues currently. Lucas Spence would be like at the top of that list. But when you look at it, they really have to, somebody's going to have to come off the 40-man in order to give them the space on the roster in order to add that new player.
When you look at the last couple of weeks, of course, it makes a lot of sense to say, oh, well, they're in first place now, they're on a roll, so they could be dangerous when the playoffs roll around. But there's still a third of the season left to play, and this is an organization that's been on a downward track really the last few years. And I don't think anybody was terribly optimistic going into the season about their prospects in a postseason. So does it make sense to buy today?
It's a good question. I think what it boils down to is the Astros just aren't ready to sell, right? I think they're in a very unique spot in that they have the best hitter in baseball playing for them. And when you have that, it's really difficult, and you're in the lead in the worst division in baseball. It's very difficult to say, you know what, let's go ahead and build up our farm system and waste Yordan Alvarez's MVP year. They have a lot of guys right now that are sort of mid-career in Jeremy Pena and Yordan Alvarez and Isaac Paredes and guys like that. They still do need to build the farm system, but they just can't do it right in this second. Now, what happens in the postseason will determine a lot. What happens with general manager Dana Brown's contract and Joe Espada's contract, a lot of that will change in this offseason, and we'll see how they sort of kind of address those things. But right now in the middle of the season, they're winning, and I can understand why they would want to not mortgage what they have right now, because they think they could probably win some more games and maybe even make a push in the postseason.
What then would you consider a win in terms of deadline moves by 5 o'clock today?
Well, I think, look, they're going to need to get an outfielder. I think they will get an outfielder. I think the worst case scenario is they end up with somebody like George Springer coming back. Springer's been very good this season, although he's been playing most of the year in DH. He certainly could play left field. The ideal, I think, would be somebody like Kyle Stower, who plays for the Marlins. He's an all-star. He's got 3 years of control left. He's a left-handed power bat. You could plug him in right in the middle of the lineup. He wouldn't miss a beat. They've got to get some more offense. That's going to be their biggest concern. They did play well offensively this weekend, but they need more of that. They've been too inconsistent at the plate. That's where they really have to go. I don't think there's too much worry about their starting rotation or their bullpen at this point. I think the biggest concern for them is they need production from the outfield, and they're just not getting it right now.
And then there's always just the question of chemistry. Any move you make, it's going to change the roster a little bit, and is that something you want right now when they're playing so well?
Well, and I think that's part of the reason why Jim Crane has sort of said, hey, I don't want to deal from the 26-man roster. Like, he doesn't want to do anything that would upset that balance. Look, I think their best valued player right now, if they were going to make a move from that, is Brian Abreu. Brian Abreu has been pitching tremendously well. He's reestablished himself as the setup guy. But I don't think they want to move him because you can never have too many arms, certainly in the bullpen, as the Astros have shown from this entire season. So I think that's the reason is part of it is they feel like they might undo some of what they've done. And I can respect and understand that. We'll see if it pays off for them or not. But the truth of the matter is, if they're going to make a move, it's probably going to mostly have to come from the minors.
Jeff Balke writes for the Houston Press and co-hosts the Bleav in Astros podcast. Jeff, thank you very much.
Thank you, Craig.
And that'll do it for today's show. The Houston Matters team includes Michael Haggerty, Joshua Zinn, Brenda Valdivia, and Mincho Jacob. Jared Carroll's our technical director. On tomorrow's show, superheroes can do more than save the day at the box office. They can also inspire a love of reading. we meet a Houston couple behind a family-owned comic book company using original stories to help students build literacy skills here in Houston and elsewhere. I'm Craig Cohen. Join us tomorrow for that and other Houston Matters.
On the next Fresh Air, the bra-burning feminist protesters at the 1968 Miss America pageant? That was just a myth. Bras were never burned. But the pageant did ignite a battle over beauty, race, and power that still echoes today. We talk with historian Mickey McEllier about her new book,